The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most powerful pressure points on Earth. At its narrowest point, this small stretch of water separates Iran from Oman and connects the Arabian Gulf to the wider Indian Ocean. Before the current crisis, more than 20 million barrels of oil pass through it every day, around 1/5 of global petroleum consumption. For decades, the threat was simple. Close Hormuz and the economies of the Gulf could be trapped behind it. But the UAE has spent years quietly preparing for exactly this moment. And it is not fighting this battle with warships. It is fighting it with pipelines, ports, logistics networks, and some seriously intelligent long-term planning. This is how the UAE is winning the war on Hormuz. The key to the UAE's strategy can be found on its eastern coastline in Fujairah. Unlike Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and most of the UAE's major commercial centers, Fujairah faces the Gulf of Oman. Its coastline sits outside the Strait of Hormuz, providing direct access to the Arabian Sea and the global shipping routes beyond it. The port of Fujairah is located around 70 nautical miles from the strait. It has grown from a regional port into one of the world's most important maritime service, oil storage, and bunkering hubs. That location gives the UAE something few other Gulf producers possess: an escape route. Running approximately 400 kilometers across the country is the Abu Dhabi crude oil pipeline, also known as ADCOP. The pipeline transports oil from Abu Dhabi's onshore fields across the desert and through the Hajar Mountains directly to Fujairah. It can carry up to 1.8 million barrels per day without a single tanker entering the Strait of Hormuz. The UAE and Saudi Arabia are currently the only major Gulf producers with significant operational pipeline capacity capable of bypassing the strait. This does not allow the UAE to redirect every barrel it produces, but it means the country is considerably less vulnerable than many of its neighbors. And now, the UAE is doubling down. A new west-to-east crude oil pipeline is already under construction. In May 2026, ADNOC announced that the project was approximately 50% complete, with operations targeted to begin in 2027. Once finished, it is expected to double the UAE's oil export capacity through Fujairah. That is not simply another energy project, it is economic armor. But the strategy goes far beyond oil. DP World has announced 2 new terminals on Fujairah's eastern coastline. The planned Al Rughailat terminal alone will be able to process up to 2.5 million shipping containers annually, alongside vehicles and general cargo. Together, the new terminals will connect Fujairah with the UAE's wider road, rail, and logistics network, allowing more trade to reach international waters without relying entirely on ports inside Hormuz. This network is already being tested. During the recent regional disruption, AD Ports Group began redirecting cargo through Fujairah and Khor Fakkan, moving containers by road, rail, sea, and air to keep supply chains operating. More than 54,000 containers were handled through the eastern ports, while thousands more were transported using land and maritime feeder services. This is the real UAE strategy. Do not depend on one port. Do not depend on one shipping lane, and never allow one regional pressure point to control the entire economy. The UAE is also fighting the diplomatic battle. It has maintained that it is not a party to the wider war and has not allowed its territory, airspace, or waters to be used for attacks against Iran. At the same time, it has reserved its right to defend itself and pushed internationally for commercial shipping to remain protected. A UAE-backed declaration condemning attacks and threats against ships in Hormuz attracted support from more than 115 International Maritime Organization member states, reportedly the largest number of co-sponsors in the organization's history. However, this does not mean the UAE has completely defeated the Hormuz problem. Much of the country's trade still depends on Arabian Gulf ports. Some offshore oil production remains exposed, and Fujairah itself has become a strategic target precisely because of its growing importance. But winning does not always mean eliminating a threat. Sometimes it means making sure that threat can no longer bring your country to a standstill. While other nations are now searching for emergency alternatives, the UAE began building its alternative decades ago. Fujairah ADCOP, the new pipeline, expanded container terminals, and the country's integrated logistics network are all parts of the same plan. Hormuz may remain one of the world's most dangerous choke points, but for the UAE, it is rapidly becoming less of a chokehold. Subscribe to What's Hot in UAE for more original stories explaining how the Emirates is shaping business, culture, and the future of the region.